All right, we're going to talk really quickly about energy. And so, energy is the ability to do work. So, if you have energy, you can work. And that can be anything from your heart beating to digesting food to going to work and working and earning money, or going to school and earning an education. But if you don't have energy, you can't do that. Okay, so there are two main categories of energy that we talk about. That is kinetic, which is the energy of movement, and there is potential. And we talk about this a lot with gradients. Potential energy means, think about what it means for something to have potential. Potential energy means there is the potential there to do work, but it is almost like it's being held back. The door hasn't been opened to release that yet. And so potential energy is kind of stored and waiting, whereas kinetic is actually energy that's in use and work is being done. All right, the next thing is I can explain energy movement in a closed system. So when we talk about systems, you need to understand that there's a system, and then everything outside of that system is called the surroundings, or sometimes you'll hear it called the universe. So for example, if this is your body, this system, then everything outside of your body, from the person sitting next to you, the air outside of you, the moon, literally everything outside of you would be the surroundings or the universe. In a closed system, energy stays within here. It doesn't leave. It stays in here, okay? It does not interact. It doesn't send any out. It doesn't bring any in from the surroundings. You are not a closed system. You are, so that would be closed. If it's an open system, then what you see happening is you see energy coming and going between the system and the surroundings. So for example, you eat food and that's how you get energy. Well, that food is your surroundings, but you're bringing it into your body and getting energy. Right now, sitting where you are, you're releasing heat. As you're releasing that heat, you're releasing that to your surroundings. So as far as energy goes, you are an open system. The earth would be another example of an open system because we're getting energy from the sun. We're also losing some energy to the universe. And so that would be another example of an open system. A closed system, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is like a thermos. If you've ever had like a lunchbox that came with a thermos, if you put hot soup in that thermos and you close it up, when you open that thermos later, the soup is still hot. Because of the insulation in that thermos, it's going to keep the energy from leaving that system, the thermos, and going out into the surrounding area or the universe. The last I can statement for this video is I can explain what happens to organisms whose energy output is larger than their input. If you are using more energy, so that means you're outputting more energy than you are bringing in, than you are inputting, then you will not survive. You have to bring in more energy than you're going to need because you are constantly losing some energy as heat. Even if it was 100%, if you were 100% efficient, you would still need to bring in at least as much energy as you're outputting. You can never output more than you input because your body can't do that. You've got to have that energy coming in. And so that's the short answer. What happens to those organisms? They die. And so those are the first 5 learning targets or I can statements, and I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, let me know.